No, I don't have it. I didn't have it.
We don't have a bumper, and we're live. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the next episode of the Man Event, your favorite podcast pseudo YouTube show. With me, as always, are B Love, Matty Ho, and Cliff and Lisa.
Lisa, where's Lisa?
Apparently, that needs to change rapidly. So today for topics, we've got some discussions about sports being back. We had NASCAR today. I hope everyone was watching that because NASCAR is exciting. Yeah, a lot. There was some some golf on. What else did we see today? I saw some bowling or something. I didn't actually tune in. I just saw it as a offering. I'll be honest. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I watched every sporting event live. And we're going to discuss, of course, the ever-present COVID-19 pandemic that's happening to us all. We're in Florida, and Florida has opened up phase 1. We're scheduled to start phase 2 tomorrow. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about whatever comes to mind. So let me let my guest host speak their mind, bring up whatever it is they're going to bring up, and talk about.
All right.
What you got, B-Love? That's good. That's the way to transition. Hey, by the way,
you caught me in the middle of something.
I'm sorry.
Welcome to the show.
Just to put this out there, we all are broadcasting from my back patio right now.
Yes.
This is live and in person. So as you can see, what we've got Matt over there at my bar. We've got Cliff over here at the table with me. Brian's over there somewhere with his beauty ring. What do you guys think of his beauty ring? Huh? Let's get some comments. Can we get some likes for the beauty ring? Right?
He's frozen.
Oh, he's frozen. Nice.
Let's face it, he needs all the beauty help he can get. So
I mean, why not? One or two lights.
Hey, one of us has to be vain.
Well,
Might as well be me.
there you
You
go.
fit the bill. So we were just hanging out today. We had some steak and potatoes for dinner. We were
Nice.
talking about the future of this
Man
channel
food.
and what we think you guys might want to see. We are very interested in continuing doing this. We'd like to do some of the shorts we've done, like the Flag Day video. If you haven't seen that, please check that out. Or the Mother's Day special cake baking edition. I also uploaded a bit of an intro today, just kind of some quick clips. It's all goofy, just of us doing stupid things that we might normally do and probably don't normally do. So that's out there if you want to see it. But for the most part, the direction of this channel, what we want to do is to provide you with a weekly, every Sunday at 7, a discussion show, sort of a podcast that's going to go over sports news, politics, entertainment, whatever's happening during the week that interests us and hopefully interests you. We'd like to get your feedback in the comments section. Just go ahead and chime in and tell us what it is you want to talk about. We're going to say what's on our minds. We're going to talk about what's happening in our lives. We've got a couple of rants today to go over, which is something that's impacted us all. But then also monthly, we like to do one of those goofy videos we were just talking about with some crazy ideas, some of these challenges, some of these seeing regular, normal guys do things that they normally wouldn't do that might be entertaining to others. All right.
That could get dangerous.
I hope it gets dangerous.
Could be fun.
I like a little bit of danger in my life.
Absolutely. Making good times, right?
So let's kick it off. You guys want to talk Major League Baseball?
Let's do it. I'm ready for baseball to be back.
So some news leaked this week about a proposed Major League Baseball schedule, which, by the way, kudos to the governor of Florida for coming out and saying that any team of any professional sport is more than welcome in the state of Florida. We could literally be fans to everybody.
Yep.
But for whether they're doing training or live games or whatever. But Major League Baseball got leaked this week about possible plans to essentially do a half a season, to start spring training in June. And then the season would start in July 4th. There'd be a number of double headers. But essentially an 82-game season with a 10-team playoff. And, Cliff, there's some Major League Baseball players out there that have a lot to say about that.
Brian, I feel like I need to jump in right here as soon as that car goes by.
Small car.
Look, there's something I need to get off my chest. This business with Blake Snell saying that he is not going to play unless he gets his entire $7 million contract paid to him this year. Okay, so let me just go through a couple of facts here for you, okay? Blake Snell, look, he's a great pitcher. 2018 National Cy Young Award winner. He scored a contract, is a 5-year contract worth $50 million. 2020, this year, he is scheduled to make $7 million. Okay, he's already been paid $286,000 of his contract to cover him for the first 60 days. And, he has an issue with the fact that Major League Baseball has essentially asked him to say, hey, you're going to play half the games. We'd like you to take about a half 50% pay cut. So that reduces his pay down to, if I do the math correctly, he said for Sox, about $3.5 million for him to throw the ball. Okay, so that breaks down to on an 80-game schedule, if he pitches 1 out of 5 games, that puts him at 16 games. That's $3.5 million divided by 16 games. That's $218,750 per game, $250,000 per game. If he pitches at $100, if he pitches 100 pitches a game, that's $2,187 per pitch. Okay, per pitch.
That's about what I make an hour.
Yeah. That's what you. Listen. Hold on, I'm not done. Let me finish. I'm only a third of the way through here.
It's good money.
He says. Blake Snell's word, he says he's not going to do it. He says it's not worth it. He's going to risk a possible injury for going out there and pitching, and he's only going to play if he gets 100% of his pay. Let me tell you a little something about Blake Snell, okay? Number one, he is not essential. Blake Snell is an entertainer, okay? That's what he is. He's an entertainer. Here's what he does, okay? He throws a ball. That's what he does. He throws the ball. If there was never another baseball game played, I would miss it. I like baseball. I like other sports, but the fact of the matter is my life would still be okay. The needs that I have, like everyone else, I need food, I need shelter, I need clothing. After that, I need air conditioning. I need a reliable car. I need a lot of things, before I get to baseball. He's on page 3. He's on page 3 of the things that I need. Okay. So
are we on page 3 of the
I'm about halfway through. Halfway through, guys.
Done yet.
Oh no, that was point 1.
Okay.
I have 6 points to get through. Okay. Point 1. Number 2.
Hold on. At some point, are we allowed to ask questions?
But I'm done. Hold on, because I got a lot of ground to cover here. Blake Snell. This is all about Blake Snell. He has said, never mind to the people who make their living off of the Rays, off of the Tampa Bay Rays. He said, never mind the people that need to have a job to provide their food, their shelter, and their clothing. These people have okay, the Rays are total discretionary spending. We don't have to spend our money on baseball if we don't want to, right? But if we want to spend our money on baseball, they need to put out a competitive product. They need to be able to put a product out there that's marketable, it's competitive, that people are going to want to spend their money on. And Blake Snell is a huge part of that. He's also said, hey, I'm more important than my teammates. By the way, his salary is 11.3% of the Rays payroll. Over half of the Tampa Bay Rays do not make $1 million a year. He's going to make $3.5 million this year. And the life of his contract, if you take 3.5 million minus subtract that from the 50 million, quick math tells me that the $50 million contract he had is worth $46.5 million. I don't care how you select, that's a lot of money for this kid to come out there and say, I'm not going to pitch for 16 games.
So you've apparently done just a little bit of research.
Just a little bit. It's what Google will tell me, So I've checked with all of my sources with Major League Baseball, and this is what they told me. Okay. Well, I did the math on that. I had a calculator and everything else. So
when you break it down by pitch, it's important.
Look, I've played sports. Sports are awesome. They teach you a lot of things, a lot of lessons that you learn. You learn teamwork, you learn sacrifice, you learn community. You know, your community can be your high school, it can be your city, it can be, if you're playing for the Olympics, it can be your country. You know, he has said, forget all of you. I'm not interested in the team. I'm only interested in me. That's point number 4, by the way. Point number 5, here we go. People are struggling. Legit, people are struggling out there. People that have never been on unemployment before are on unemployment. People that have never been to a food pantry before are lining up for free food because they don't have the money to put it out there. Okay? The reality of it is there are people that are sick. There are people that are legit dying. Not as many as they thought, but there are people that this is not going well for. Okay? And Blake Snell says, this is about me. I want my full $7 million. I'm not going to do it.
All right. Can I ask some questions yet?
Almost done. Almost done.
I
I got one more point to get through here. Number 6. Here we go. I'm not asking him to play for free. I think I may have said he's going to make $3.5 million. Most people that I know never see $3.5 million he's going to earn in a year. Okay. The people that I know have more real skills in life than being able to throw a ball. They got legit skills out there that we need. They got people out there that help people, whether they're sick, they're injured. We got people out there that bring us clean water. We got people out there that build. We got people that work with their money. Those are important to everybody. Throwing a ball, not that important. Society, and that includes me, we have put him on a pedestal. We put a lot of people on pedestals. And I'm going to tell you right now, for the most part, these people have stepped up and they have said, hey, I'm gonna donate. I'm gonna do my part. We're in this with you. And Blake Snell has smell. He stinks. He hasn't said any of that. And if we put him on that pedestal, I say that we can take him down from that pedestal. He's ungrateful. He's privileged. He's selfish. And unless Blake Snell decides to change his position on this, you won't see him getting a dime of my money. Anytime he takes the mound, I will not watch the Rays. I will not buy Blake Snell t-shirt. I will watch the Rays when he's not pitching. Yeah, okay, let's put that. I'm not going to hurt the whole team because of one guy, but I'm not going to do it. I won't watch it. I'm not going to talk about his success when he does have success, because here's the deal. It's more about him. He can pitch a no-hitter. Okay, he still needs defense. He still needs guys behind him because they're going to make contact with that ball, and he needs someone to play defense behind him. And he needs bats. He doesn't hit, by the way. You know, he has pitchers that go, he has hitters that go up and do it for him. He can't do this by himself. This is a team event, and he's made it about him, and I'm not okay with it. I'm open to questions.
Okay.
All right,
So I have a couple of questions.
First of all, that was a solid rant. All right, that was a solid rant. Clifford told me, I got a rant about Blake Snell today. That was solid.
Yep.
Well done. Well done, Robbie. All right. So, seeing that you've done a lot of research, I have a couple of questions.
Let's
Did
go.
you say that he's already gotten paid a portion of his 2020 salary?
Yes.
Yeah, he did. And I think all Major League Baseball players I've got paid for their 60 days.
All Major League employees.
Yeah.
Employees, that includes vendors, that includes car parking people, that includes scouts, that includes everybody.
Yeah.
They're all currently being paid. So to your point, though, I think is what you're asking, and this is what I think is happening. This is nothing but a bargaining play, right? Because this is something the players union has to vote on as far as salary. And they're more, and I'm not defending Blake Snell in his comments because they could definitely be done a lot better with the sensitivity, right? That's lacking. I think what's happening though is he's putting the Rays organization in a position, in all organizations in a position to pay the full salary. Not just him, but he's fighting for the guy that doesn't make the $1 million, like you said. So let's take a rate like Brandon Lowe. Well, Brandon Lowe got a nice little check.
That player, he's playing for the league minimum.
Right.
I don't even know what the league minimum is anymore. Let's call it a half a mil.
It's probably
That's,
400,000.
I think 500,000.
Okay.
400 and 500,000. To ask that player,
to play for 200 or 250.
Right.
that is a big deal.
When a lot of it's going to go to taxes, a lot of it's going to go to his agent, a lot of it's going to go.
$7 million.
I can say this. That's not. I hear what you're saying. I hear you. You know
what he said.
That's not what he said. Exactly. He didn't say I'm fighting for everybody. He says it's not worth it to me.
and I understand that. He said that on a Twitch stream, which is a whole nother topic, which, you know, we're
Who?
Twitch stream. Twitch is where you're playing a video game and you are broadcasting yourself playing said video game,
Right.
right? There's huge followings. We think we have a large following on YouTube. No,
This is a thing?
It's a huge thing.
Wow.
If we could teach you to play Call of Duty, we could get 1 million subscribers tomorrow. But you can't play Call of Duty because you're an old white guy.
Yeah.
This is Call of Duty, not real shooting. And you can't out real shoot me either.
Real
But
good.
aside the point, what he said was, and I think that's another issue, is the fact that this is the second or third time he said something in a passionate segment during a live audience, during a live Twitch stream. So he said the same thing when the Rays traded Tommy Pham and the return prospect. He was on his phone while he was playing, looking to see what the return prospect was, and he called him a slapdick prospect, quote, right? So that's a person. That's a dude that plays baseball.
That is now your teammate, by the way.
It is now your teammate that you're going to have to face in the clubhouse one day. By the way, Blake Snell, you were once a slapdick prospect too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's been there, whether or not it was high school or AAA or AA or single A, whatever your status was. At some point, someone considered you a slapdick prospect, if you will. So, but that was a natural, authentic reaction during a live stream. Perfectly explainable. I think this was similar. Something he found out, someone asked him on the chat stream, hey, what's your thoughts on playing a full season for half the salary? He shared his thoughts. I don't necessarily think his thoughts were
So you
sensitive.
just gave him an out, by the way.
What's that?
You basically are coming back around saying, well, we don't understand the context of which he made that quote.
No, I think the context was clear. He was asked, are you willing to play a season for half the salary? And he essentially said no.
All right. I have a couple more questions.
Come on, bring him.
Let's hear it.
Cliff?
Listen, I'm writing a note so I can rebut to what Cougar said, but
Just line of questioning. Go
Just
ahead.
line a question. He's a lawyer now.
If you've got something to add to that, Cliff, please go ahead. I mean,
The defense rests. Prosecution, do you have anything?
look, I'm willing to give Blake Snell an out. I'm willing to say, youthful indiscretion. If he's willing to step up, take the mound, pitch like a Cy Young pitcher for $3.5 million, all is forgiven. I'm willing to say youthful indiscretion. He's a young man. He's managing money that he's lived his entire dream, his entire life about, and now he's having that kind of taken away from him. And I don't think he has the life experience to put it in context with everybody else.
Probably not. But think of it this way. Think of it as a negotiation. So you just got told by your agent that the league is thinking of playing for half salary. Blake, I don't want you to pay for half salary. We're going to get you full salary, but I don't want you to say anything about it. And then someone asks you on a live stream that very question, right? Okay. So you're going to share your feelings. But you've talked to the union president. You've talked to every team has a representative. I don't know who the Rays representative is, but he's probably said, hey, listen, guys, don't worry. We're going to get full salaries. This is merely an opening salvo of a negotiation. You didn't go in buy your last car and say, hey, I'm going to pay top dollar. You said, I'm going to pay as low as possible because it's a negotiation.
I think if this is truly a negotiation, you've got more than Blake Snell beating this drum, and the amount of people that are beating the drum with Blake Snell are pretty small. And
that was going to be one of my questions.
Yeah.
Who else is Blake Snell really the spokesperson for Major League Baseball?
No, he's not.
I mean, I realize the guy won a Cy Young, but come on, the guy's not Bryce Harper.
Well, Bryce Harper was another one that said something about it. He defended Blake Snell. So I'm glad you brought his name up.
Bryce Harper did too.
Yeah.
So
two
job.
People.
Well, it was actually three because you brought up somebody else I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, there was another guy. I just forgot his
Welcome
name.
to the show, Matty Ho, by the way. You haven't said a word. Welcome, Matty.
Let me tell you something. I'm listening to all this, and I've got some thoughts when the waters calm down.
When the waters calm down, it's getting choppy in here. Okay, so here's
it's as calm as I get right now.
No, it's good. It's good. I'm not complaining.
Really the face.
I don't think so at all.
Speaking out about this. Okay, here's my real question, and I'll probably have some follow-ups to this. Would any of y'all work for half pay?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I would work for half pay.
You would work for half pay?
In the situation that we're in right now, absolutely.
Well, if the choice was no pay versus half pay,
No. Hear me out for a second.
Yeah.
So
Here's where I'm coming from.
I can understand
Baseballs, where they're coming from. Listen, we're going to get half the revenue. We're going to play half the games. To some degree, we have to also protect other Major League Baseball employees, other Major League Baseball teams employees,
to try to preserve as many jobs as we can.
and if we can cut payroll, which is probably the number one expense of any organization, put baseball aside,
And you can
protect jobs, would any of you be willing to give up half pay
so that everybody still has a
so has
job?
a job?
All right,
Or
so-
would you rather take full
Full
pay
pay,
and they
and
lay off 20% of the workforce?
I've actually been in that situation, and I think, well, you may not have been, but with my organization, there was a situation about 2008, whenever that was, right? There was a situation where they were asking all employees to take furlough time, right? And the spirit behind that was that there's going to be layoffs and there was going to be actual jobs left vacant. There were people that were not
some of
hired.
us make sacrifices.
Correct.
or
So
all of us
I
make
had to essentially
sacrifices
take off
for
an
the
entire
whole.
week's worth of time with no pay in order to maintain my job. If I didn't accept that, I was going to be what they call RIF. I was going to be transferred and probably demoted and subsequently let go.
You know, there's also a difference here between us and Blake Snell. Not one of us is making $3.5 million or $7 million. You know, the loaf of bread costs the same for Blake Snell as it does for me and you. The gallon of gas is the same for everybody else. You know, the decisions that he makes with his money. You know, if his mortgage is I have no idea how much his mortgage is. If his mortgage is $10,000 a month, that's
I
on
believe
him.
currently he's living with mom and dad in Seattle, but beside the point.
Wow, dude's living his mom and dad's
I think he
basement.
does. I think he does. He has a streaming studio sub in his basement with his logo behind him. It's pretty sick.
Oh my
but-
God.
Don't get me started,
Yeah,
man.
oh, I know. But whatever. Hey, Blake, if that's not the truth, if I'm wrong, please correct me. But I think that's the way it is.
Has a new logo. We should.
Can you put it on there? Can you put the new logo on there?
Yes.
I tell you what, if you can get it to me, I can. Yeah.
I can do that.
The other guy, by the way, was Nolan Arenado.
Well, Nolan
Arenado.
Arenado.
What's he making?
Chris says there's a lot of reverb coming out of you. He is probably the best third baseman in all of baseball. Is he third base? Yeah, he's third base. I'm sure. If I'm not right, I'm sure I'll be corrected. But yes, he's.
Still making more than me.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, we'll just go ahead and put his name in everywhere I said Blake Snell and insert him right there.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, I was listening. Pooh, it's almost, I can't be a Blake Snell apologist in this situation. I'm kind of more in line with what Cliff's saying. And one of the things you got to look at is we're not running in the same circles. So when we say, what about the rest of the organization, or would you work for half pay? Okay. First off, you got to remember he's doing half the work. He's working half the season.
Correct.
Second, you're talking about salaries and money that is astronomical to 99.9% of everybody who's ever lived.
Yes.
Okay. So we have all those. What he said was very specific about, I am not playing. He didn't say anything about the rest of baseball.
Well,
He didn't care about.
He actually mentioned his health. He said, "I'm not going to risk my health for that
Right.
low of pay."
Low of pay. Well,
Right.
there's people out there, nurses, who are risking their health every day, and I get it. He's not a nurse.
Absolutely.
I understand that. But you guys brought up his age. Okay. The optics suck on what he said and the way he said it and what he's done since then.
Yes.
Okay, the optics are horrible. He's 20 some odd years old. You're old enough to vote. You're old enough to drive. You're old enough to be drafted. You're old enough to be responsible for your own tongue.
I
He's
can't
got enough
argue
people
that.
around him. And the fact that he was on a video game or whatever else, when you get to that point, it's kind of like, I don't know if we're going to talk about this too, but if we get to, what's his name, Baker from the Giants, and what's his name from Seattle, who got arrested for
Yep. And
armed robbery.
2 DUIs this weekend as well.
Right. But you've got to be smart enough to never put yourself in that position in the first place. No matter what. Once you get, no matter what your past is, no
Oh, I
matter how
agree.
immature you are.
Listen, there is no defending when you
Well, there's just
when
there's
you-
just no defending what he did. It's so insensitive to the nurses.
and there you go. There you
How
go.
about the nurse who committed suicide after a couple of weeks ago because whatever
She couldn't handle it.
COVID-19 did to her.
Right.
These people live in such a bubble and in such an insane world that, okay, I'm sorry, you're not going to risk getting hurt for $3.5 million a year. I don't think, I've ever made $3.5 million in my entire
Well,
life.
he was insinuating it wasn't about being hurt. It was about being sick
You
by
have a real
COVID.
live donkey.
Okay.
All right, guys, we
Guys, we need to take a time out here
What happened?
because
Audio's
audio is a problem.
Uh-oh.
Bobby says audio's a problem.
Chrissy said audio was a problem.
Yeah.
All right, so maybe we should do a little muting while others are talking.
Yeah, I think that's.
You press Alt-A.
Hobby, give us a check here, Hobby. Check. Hobby to the stage. Hobby to the stage.
Hobby to the stage. Blueberry, you're on deck.
Chat. He's saying in the chat that it's Matt. When Matt speaks, it echoes.
Okay.
So Matt, give us an audio check.
All right, test 1 2, test 1 2. Check. Snell's a jackass. Check 1 2. Well, while we're checking, I'm going to keep on talking a minute. I guess, you can see where I'm going. You can see my train of thought with all this. It just was bad. And I don't know that, Cliff, I think you mentioned, welcome back with open arms if he comes back, right? First, I want to hear the apology. Apologies go a long way. And there's a lot of people that are just flat out insulted. It's kind of like when you have the baseball, they go on strike and it's billionaires fighting with multi-millionaires, and that's the mindset of the average Joe. And it's the average Joe who pays for the tickets. It's the average Joe who buys the merchandise. For what it's worth from the owner's side, they are not making revenue from advertising, from selling tickets right now, all that. There is. And you can sit here and say, well, they're still millionaires or whatever. I get it. No one's asking you to play for free. And if they're playing half a season, they're going for half pay, it kind of falls in line. Okay. $3.5 million for this one character, even if he does get injured or, even if he gets sick, you know what? On a baseball field, you can stay more than 6 feet away. You're taking a bigger risk going to pick up milk, or when you pick up the gas pump to fill up your Maserati or your Ferrari or your Lamborghini, whatever you're driving around town, than you ever are walking into the middle.
Continental GT. Let's get it right. Okay.
But nice car. And he's protected in that because he's got some pretty fancy air filters in there. But he can walk out from the bullpen all by himself. He can walk out to the mound all by himself, right? I guess he can. I don't know. Can you keep Purell on the mound? It's probably be frowned upon, but he can do these things to protect him, to make his chances of getting sick much smaller than most people going to work every day still can.
Listen,
every way I look at this, it stinks to high heaven. It smells. I mean, it smells.
It does stink. It does stink. But let's take Blake Snell out. Let's say it was another MLB player. The message is still the same. The fact that the players' union is going to fight for every penny from the owners they can get, right? So whether that was a half game season, 3/4 of the season, they're going to fight for as much salary as they can get a hold of. Whether it's Blake Snell, whether it's Mike Trout, whether it's Mike Judge, whoever's going to be complaining about this. Now, agree, it was insensitive. It was probably off the cuff. Not to say that that's an excuse, but the fact is that that's what it was, right? So let's let this play out. Let's see what the negotiation leads us to. Now, if we get to the point where there's actually people holding out because, hey, you're only playing a half season, and you're only going to pay me half pay, I'm out. I'm not pitching, or I'm not batting. I'm not, playing first base for you. Well, then we got a problem. Right now, we're still in negotiations. The union and the league office and the owners are saying, what are we going to do? Nobody knows what they're going to do. Everybody thinks right now the proposed plan is to play a half season, which is 82 games, 81 games. They're going to try to play that. The players, like anybody else, are going to try to get as much money for that amount of service time as anyone else. Okay. And that's just the way it is. Whether or not you're playing football, whether you're playing a movie actor, whether you're, a mortgage broker, whatever your job is, that's what you're going to be looking to do, is get as much money as possible. And that, again, it's insensitive. The time we're at, people are working for free. People are working extra hard. I've got teams that are working when other people aren't working. That's not fair. There's, people that are putting their lives, literally putting their lives in danger, that probably shouldn't have to, with some of the scenarios they're presented with. So let's look at it from that lens, and let's see what happens after this plays out. If a week from now, they're still saying, hey, we're not going to play because the players just won't show up, then we got a problem.
Okay, I'm in.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to mute now.
You mute out, I'll mute in. Okay. My issue with that is what he basically said was he's not playing for half salary. So if the union negotiated a deal and they came out and everybody said, okay, we're going to play with half salary. That's not what he said. I'm going to wait and see what the union does or anything else. He just flat out said he wasn't going to play. That was his deal. And the reasons he gave are what's sort of less than altruistic, right? I mean, I just can't buy. There's just no scenario. I look at this and I say, there's a way to put some cologne on this stink. There just isn't.
Fair enough.
Matt, I got a question, Matt. Altruistic. Can you use that in another sentence? And country of origin, please. I'm not really. Does that start with an A or an E? I'm not sure on that one. Matt's been to the thesaurus recently, apparently, guys. I mean, where'd that one come from?
Matt,
I am very altruistic in
out.
my giving to charity.
So again, I mean, go back to my original question: is would any of you work for half pay?
Well, what's the alternative?
I'm
right
not.
Now? No pay?
Other people's jobs.
I'm not going to currently do what I do every day for half the price. I would look for something else.
You would look for something else, but okay. There's nothing else. You're also making more than enough money.
I'm not as financially secure as Blake Snell.
Right.
I'm not in a bargaining position.
I just can't see where we can make that comparison and have it make any sense.
I think that's why going to the purchase of a home or purchase of a car is more applicable, because you can say, I'm willing to get up and walk away from this deal. I don't need this Volkswagen Jetta that bad to where I need to pay half price. To pay
Not for
double
nothing, but
price.
that Volkswagen Jetta, when it got cold, it had a hard time like keeping the trunk
It was
closed.
crazy, and that was actually a Passat.
it was only when it was cold.
That was a
But-
Passat. Shout out to Volkswagen. Your electronics suck. You need to get the Japanese in there, not the Germans.
So let me, if I understand correctly, the players' union is going to have to vote on this proposal,
Correct. And
if they voted it down, there's no season. Who loses their job?
This proposal is dead, so they'll come back with another proposal. Okay, we'll play half the season at this salary. That's again, it's negotiations. So they're going to say, right now, the plan on the table, from what I understand, is 82 games, half salary, half season, half salary. The players are going to come back and say, no, we want full salary, right? Because who wouldn't? Well, then the union and the owners in the league are going to come back and say, well, we'll pay 3/4 salary. Are you okay with that? They'll probably say yes. You might have some holdouts. You might have some people that will say, you know what? I'm good, fam. Staying here.
So in the chat, Javi makes a good point. He's saying that you can't compare millions to thousands.
Yes, you can, because it's percentages.
That's kind of my point. Yeah.
Well, I think it's percentages.
Just in terms of, listen, all of us have a mortgage, drive a car, live a lifestyle. It's contingent on our current
Correct.
earnings,
You spend
right?
what you make.
And yeah, exactly. No, I don't think those guys are much different.
They're not. I know some. They're not. Hey,
These guys are a lot different. You millions and thousands are like apples and oranges. You know, you definitely can't compare the two. Hold on. Oh, my bad. All right, sorry.
Well, and it's not even just comparing them and then saying like, well, who else is going to lose their job and all that, right? I don't even know what to say anymore. It's just, it stinks. The way it was said stinks.
it does.
One of the questions you have to ask is, why are they paid so much in the first place? Because I'm going to bring it to a different
because
point
nobody
here.
wants to watch you build a fire station. That's
Right.
right.
Matt,
Nobody
Matt,
pays
no.
to watch you build a
Don't
fire
turn this
station.
into a
People
social
pay to watch you
conversation.
Wait, they're paid because they're entertainers, right? So my point is, he's not paid $7 million a year because he's got such a high risk job. So when you come back and you say, okay, but he says, I'm not going to risk getting hurt for half the salary. Well, he's not getting paid because of the risk of getting injured. He's getting paid because of, like you just said, there's very few people who can do it and all that. So the idea that the risk to my health and all that is too great to play for $3.5 million versus $7 million for one season, when, you know, like you said, there's so many other people dependent on that. Let alone, how about just the general public who's been cooped up in their houses and everything else, and people live for baseball. It's America's pastime.
There's Korean baseball
Part of
on
this
right
is
now.
you have
You're not
a
watching
duty
it?
and a responsibility to be a professional.
There's Korean baseball on right now. Nobody's watching it. Right? You know why? Because the level of competition is not there.
Wow, you just went there.
It's the truth.
Nah.
I bet Kim Jong Un's watching it.
Kim Jong Un maybe. G-Man Choi is probably watching it. First baseman for the Rays. Shout out to G-Man. Love you, buddy.
Hey guys, really quick, I'm going to give you a Zoom pro tip. If you mute yourself and then you just hold the space bar, it unmutes you while you're holding the bar. Then you.
Mine's an Alt-A. If I hit Alt-A. See, I can't hear you now.
While Pooh Bear's muted, I'm gonna get a word in here. Holy smoke! Look, I'm gonna stand by what I said. I think Blake Snell, he is even if everything the Pooh Bear said is correct about this is a negotiation tactic and, you know, players union, blah 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 blah. Even if all that is correct, okay, it's not Blake Snell's position to get out there. It's reason for the union. Union means everyone in it together. You know, not Blake Snell, by myself out there doing it. And I'm going to stand by the fact that, you know, this kid got out there, was selfish. He made a couple of arrogant statements. And, you know, I don't even need an apology from him. I just want to see him go out there and take the mound. Yeah, like I said, I'm willing to chalk it up to youthful indiscretion. Guys, we beat this freaking horse to death, man.
And one last thing before we get off topic and go something else.
I never doubted that you had the last word. Go ahead.
I can be done. I can be done.
Hold on, I'll mute myself. Go ahead.
But the fact is, you're just talking about he was the spokesman for the association, the union players. He wasn't asked in a union capacity. He was asked by a live streamer, "Hey Blake, are you going to play for half the season this year?" You know, so it was a setting. So again, I don't apologize for what he's doing. I think his message is probably a little mixed, and it was definitely ill-timed. I think, though, that it's the same message you'd hear from most major league players at this point, that they're going to hold out for as much money as possible during this negotiation period. It was insensitive. It was ill-timed. It was not what we want to hear right now. A lot like what our president says. Some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth is not what you want to hear at this point in time. It's insensitive. It's not friendly or palatable. There's a word. How about that? Palatable.
Did we just go from Blake Snell to the president of the United States?
I
mean, what just happened here?
Bam.
What just happened?
How about that? You wanted to be done talking about baseball. I did it for you. You're welcome.
That's called a segue.
What do you want to talk about next, Pooh Bear? You're up. What are we talking about next?
I want to talk about ego trimmers. No, I don't really.
We're talking about power tools now?
We can talk about power tools. I'm pretty pissed off about my power tool situation.
I do like power tools.
I love new tools. I got a new tool today. So all right, here we go. We're going into the rant.
We're going to go 2 rants in a row.
This is another rant. All right. So this might get us started on something else.
All right, bring it on.
So,
Let's hear this.
Hey, before you get started, I'm going to call dibs on the last word on this since you got the last word on my rant.
Absolutely. I'm good with it. So I am a consumer of the Ego power tool brand yard tools, right? I have a battery powered Ego trimmer, yard trimmer, and an Ego powered or a battery powered blower. I have been coveting a hedger. They have a wonderful hedger. It's the HT411. I believe it's HT4111 is what it's called. I've been eyeballing this thing. I want to get $200. They just released, the company did a new battery, a different battery that has, what are you laughing at? That has an indicator on there for how much power the battery has left. So I told myself, I need that trimmer. I want to purchase this trimmer, but I don't want to purchase it with the old battery. I want to buy it with a new battery, right? Who wouldn't want the new? So I've been shopping. This tool is only available at Home Depot and Ace Hardware. I finally found it just this morning at Home Depot on display. Not only was it for sale, it was $30 off, $169 as opposed to $199. Looking at the packaging, it's got a picture of the new battery on the outside. I said, yes. I was with my wife. Honey, let's buy this. Can we get it now? She said, absolutely, honey. You go ahead. Get it home. tear open the box. I'm all excited like a kid on Christmas morning. Bust it open. There's an old battery inside. The old style battery. I am not very happy. I want to call on any ego system executives watching this video right now. You duped me, and I'm not happy about it. You showed me on the outside the new battery with the 6-bar power indicator, and you sold me the old battery with no 6-bar power indicator. I'm done. Comments and questions.
False advertising. I'm with you 100%. That's not cool.
I think your entire rant, you just wasted your entire rant because you
Did I?
because you just told us that you bought it for your wife. And she
No.
should be the one out here ranting, not her.
I
I mean,
bought
why
it
are
with-
you ranting? And you're
I bought it with my wife. She was with me. We were shopping for something else. It just happened to be that I saw them. I looked at them last week with Lovell. Lovell and I were there shopping for the flagpole stuff. And did we not look at them?
We looked at them, but I just gotta. These are third world problems.
This is listen. Right now,
first
this
world
is-
problems.
This
That's a third world
Third-
problem.
Third world
No
problems?
apologies. This is white privilege, first world, older man, all of it. Bring it on. This is
Pooh Bear is fired from the man event.
all these complaints. Again, this is just like Blake Snell's complaints. These probably fall on deaf ears to people that are out of work right now. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to people that bought something thinking they were getting something else. That's where I'm at, and I'm not happy about it.
I'm with you on that. False advertising. It's bait and switch. You should be upset, especially when it
Are
comes
you-
to power tools.
Are you trying to say that we put ego on a pedestal and that we can take them down? Because that was, we put them up there, we can take them down. Is that right?
I'm just trying to get some free stuff out of ego.
You're trying to get a freebie out of
I'm
ego.
just gonna put it out there. I think what just happened is we're about to get some free cookies.
Oh, look at that.
Out of the oven.
I'm gonna go out on it right now and just let you know you got wife of the year right here. Look at that.
Look at this.
Wow.
Look at all this chocolate chips. Thank you.
I'm just gonna
Are these
look at
milk
that.
chocolate or are these dark
That
chocolate?
just got delivered to me. I think it's
Dark
still
chocolate.
hot and fresh.
You know, I
Thank
still love
you.
you, even though it's dark chocolate. Because let's be honest, dark chocolate is not real chocolate. Milk chocolate is real chocolate. That just
Hobby,
happened.
I'm gonna eat this for Hobby because
Oh, yeah.
I
Mira,
know
aquí.
he's not gonna eat it.
Mira,
Mhm.
muy delicioso. I've had them
Muy bien.
before.
Very good.
I'm not a big dark chocolate fan. These are definitely made with dark chocolate. I much prefer the milk chocolate, but my wife's baking is second to none. I'd actually, I think Brian's wife, Ginger, is probably a little better. At,
Gosh, should have had the girls helping you on the cake contest.
Well, that was part of
Since
the
you brought
rules.
up the cake contest,
Those
I'm
are-
ready for a rant of my own.
Those are the rules you set forth. Oh, Lovell
What's
rant.
the rant on the cake?
It's a Lovell lesson.
Hey, really quick, I am going to go out and say my wife makes a heck of a good brownie. Awesome brownie. Just saying.
Never had your wife brownies. I would love to try it. Let's make that happen, okay?
Okay? Batch is coming your way.
Matt, I have to ask, does Don make those with like plant-based, ingredients? Like, do they have vegetables in them?
No, they're all spinach.
Oh
It's
my
all
God.
spinach.
I believe it. I would.
No, I think there's sugar, butter, chocolate. I don't know whether all the stuff she puts on the top,
And,
but they always get rave
hint of
reviews.
donkey hair.
Well,
Matt,
He had me at
Matt
sugar
does-
and butter.
no donkey hair.
Matt does have a donkey.
Oh.
I do have a donkey, and Luna. Well, actually, Dawn has a donkey. She's pretty cool. If you
All right,
look if you look at our new intro, if that ever gets played, you can see our
It's on the
horse,
YouTube
too.
channel, folks. All right, let's hear about your rant pertaining to the Man Event Cake Day event.
I'm still really, this was a rigged, somehow Matt and Cliff, I don't know, they sweet talk the judges. When you look back at the footage, not the footage that was published to our adoring fans, but the raw footage, everybody talks about how much better our cake tasted, how much better the frosting was. and ooh, the caramel drizzle.
All right, really quick.
But
I'm just gonna.
somehow
I just want to go on
we
record
did
really
not
quick
get
and
enough
tell you.
votes to win.
I just want to go on record really quick and say it was your wife and Pooh's wife who voted for us, and I did not sweet talk either one of them. I'm not getting in trouble.
Hey, I'll be the first to admit your cake had good flavor. Okay, if you didn't make it with sand, it would have been you would have won. You know, but you
Wow.
baked that thing like a brick, and that's what happened.
He's saying he put too much flour in it. Is what he's saying.
No, I'm saying he overcooked it. That thing was
As a matter of fact,
It was
if
overcooked.
you watch the video, you'll see Cliff say when you're done drying that thing out, he called it right
Yeah,
on right
but
on the
I
ball.
think it was you guys were distracting us on purpose. Like you had called our attention away from the actual time.
That's on you.
Hey,
You need to be a
you
professional.
You guys are cake blocking us. You were trying to keep us from getting in the oven, and then you wound up overdoing it. You know, you had a
That's
you had
what
a
it
job
was.
opportunity.
I was paying more attention to actually recording the event instead of actually cooking the cake. There's my
Well,
problem.
I believe that.
Oh,
Hey, you guys ever heard the term sour grapes?
I heard the term sour cake. Oops.
that ain't even right. Listen,
And we also, I'm not done with my rant.
Oh, here we go.
By the way,
Oh, he's not done.
we also got
last word.
absolutely zero credit for the level of difficulty in the cake that we made. They basically made a box cake. Everything
Ours was
we
made from
made
scratch, just
was-
like yours.
But
Listen, I
will-
didn't see you
will
having to
say
do
this.
gymnastics or anything crazy to make your cake. It wasn't that difficult.
When I was posting the recipe, I had to actually follow a link to Mrs. Singlet or something.
Biddles.
Bartles,
No, white
Bartle
cake.
James, whatever her name's it. That is a very popular cake.
Hey, we wore that sifter out. I mean, literally, we broke the sifter.
Well, yeah, because you put raspberries in it.
Well,
Raspberries aren't made to be sifted.
it doesn't say that on the sifter.
That just goes to show you the level of difficulty of our cake.
Oh
we,
man.
we won. We are reigning cake bake champions.
You are reigning cake baked.
Despite being
champions,
cake
but
blocked, we won
So-
anyway.
What we need to know from the audience right now in the comments below and on the comments in the live feed, what is it you want to see these four knuckleheads do next? Because we're going to bake something, make something, create something, build something that we probably shouldn't and we have no experience doing. We want to see what that's like. So tell us what it is you want us to see. We have some ideas.
I think we should
currently.
go play baseball.
All right, here's the deal.
Ooh.
I got an idea. This just hit me. How about we have a contest on who makes the best cocktail? Now, here's the thing. It cannot be a cocktail that you can Google and do. You've got to invent the cocktail, make it, and then we will have it judged. So Cliff, you can't just make a
Done.
Manhattan.
I already won.
Can we make a mead?
Oh, that was my line. I was just going to say that. Can we make a mead?
That's in the
Go with the
intro.
vanilla mead.
Ooh, vanilla.
Uh,
Listen, you just lost yourself because you've had a turbidity, which is my own creation, and you liked it.
I have had
Like
the
a
turbidity.
turbidity barrier?
No, a turbidity drink. I'm not going to say what it is because I want to win. But
What's it made out of?
what did I just say?
I was just trying to trip you up.
I say we keep the same teams, right? So me
It's a
and
winning
Pooh Bear,
combination. I like it.
and what did you guys call yourselves?
Clap.
Milf.
Well, Kristen called him Team MILF several times.
Yeah.
I left that out of the video.
It was MIF. It was spelled WINNER.
Oh
Myth.
boy!
Yeah.
Wow! Gauntlet thrown. Bam! Slam her down, Maddie. Wow. Yeah. So I've already got one or two cocktails in the bag here that can pass judgment. Plus, if we're gonna do my wife as a judge, I know what's gonna win, so I'm good. What else you got?
That helped us out a whole lot the last time around, Pooh Bear.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, that was baking, not my expertise.
Jackie T wants to know who's judges.
Jackie T.
No.
Well, the last time we had some wives and some children judging, so maybe that was the problem.
Hey, Javi knows what's in the turbidity.
I may have.
Javi,
made-
what's in the turbidity, buddy?
I may have
Just
made.
go ahead and throw it out here for
I
us.
may have made one for Javier once or twice.
No, he said he knows what's in it.
Well, the only way to know. It's kind of like when you go to Publix.
Hey,
and order
Javi,
the
was it any
Brian
good?
Level sandwich?
Did you puke after?
No, he didn't puke.
Hey,
So-
you guys know Publix has a sandwich named after me, right?
Only because of me and Dirty McLean. We spread that word. So there is an actual sandwich called the Brian Level. If you don't know what it is a Publix sub with chicken tenders, but instead of just leaving the chicken tenders to their own devices, you put a little buffalo sauce on it. Then you sprinkle a little bit of shredded cheese on top. That, my friend, is the Brian Level on a sandwich. So we were in Lower Alabama somewhere near Mobile. We walked into the Publix and said, "We need a Brian Level." She said, "No problem. Coming up." She knew what it was. No joke. That's in Alabama. We live in Florida, folks.
It's because he
word
texted her
spreads.
20 minutes beforehand and said, "Hey, make this for us when we
Hey,
get
listen, whatever, it happened. Okay. We don't need your facts.
there." Okay. Either way, I'm very proud of you guys. And it sounds delicious, by the way.
It was delicious. So I have yet to be in an establishment and said, "Hey, I need a turbidity," and they knew what I was talking about. But let's change that right now. Right? Let's go, fam. Let's make the turbidity. Let's get it trending.
Put it out there.
Hashtag turbidity.
Put the recipe up for
You
everybody
gotta
to
put the
follow.
recipe up for that to happen.
Facts. Here we go.
Yeah.
Details. All these details.
Got to put it
All right,
out
what
there,
else we
buddy.
got?
People need to
What
know.
else we got on the agenda tonight?
All right. How about the guy, the New Zealand sailor? He left New Zealand in, I think it was November, maybe September. Sailed to South Africa. Was there for a little bit. Sailed his way back to New Zealand last week. Goes to get off the boat. They said, "No, sir. No entry in New Zealand." He said, "Why not?" They said, "COVID-19." He said, "What's that?" Did not know what it was because he had been gone so long on his sailboat and had limited communications with his wife. He did not know what it was, and he could not get into the country.
Well, I would think being that far away, he was more than 6 feet. He was probably, he would test negative. They should have just let him in.
I agree. Whatever.
Ryan, I got a question, Pooh Bear. Is that an altruistic story?
No, that is a
Did I use that correctly?
it is a altruistic story.
Oh God, is that 2 words of the day? 2 vocabulary words I gotta learn
You
now?
gotta look up 2 words.
That was a no truth
If
to
you
it
gotta look
story.
up 2 words in one day, you might be an idiot. No, I made that second word up. No, it is a true story. Huh? I see a bunch of red microphones. Nobody's hot.
Yeah, no, it's,
That's dead air. That is not good for a podcast, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta keep it rolling.
Cliff's mic's open.
People are gonna tune out and look for something else. They're gonna go watch.
I still want to hear somebody use altruistic in a sentence.
Hit rewind. I did. As a matter of fact, I did twice.
What else we got? What was the deadly lizards coming down from Georgia to kill us all, Matthew? Tell us about
The
that.
giant tegu lizard, I think it is, or tegu.
The Chrissy Teigen lizards? What?
They're called giant tegu lizards, and we got those coming with the murder hornets and the gypsy moths. I think we're being overrun here. So apparently these giant tegu lizards are coming in Georgia and making their way into Florida. And I guess the consensus is, you see them, shoot them on sight, or as they say, dispatch with them humanely. I don't know. I think the shotgun would do that, but apparently they're like 3-4 feet long, and they like to eat like bird eggs and other things, and they're just like an invasive species that came up from South America or something. But we're just getting overrun with between the snakes. What else we got going on in the Everglades down there?
Do you think that these stories about invasive species and deadly insects are more prevalent right now because there's just not a whole lot else going on besides the COVID-19 situation?
Yeah, I don't know. It could be, trying to change up the news cycle a little bit. Could be, but I don't know, keep an eye out for them. If you see one around the yard here, either way, it could be
Oh yeah,
fun.
we'll definitely give some lead
know?
poisoning to any kind of lizard that's in this house.
I have an idea for new sporting events. We saw last week the praying mantis versus the murder hornets. Okay, so let's go for top of the food chain here and these like unknown.
What, you want to go get Carol Baskin and get one of her lions?
The praying mantis is undefeated right now. I mean, it took that murder hornet down. Let's put it in there with this giant lizard and see what happens.
Well,
You know,
you're
ABC
gonna have
could-
to- you're going to have to catch a
ABC
giant
could pick
lizard.
that up.
But do you know what one of the predators of the praying mantis is?
You have to say that again. Do I know what?
Tell me it's not a lizard.
It is the female praying mantis.
Oh, kind of like the black widow.
It's like, hey, knock me up, and then I'm going to eat you.
Wow.
You guys didn't know this about the praying mantis?
No, listen. Last week I didn't even know there was more mantises than just the praying mantis. I thought there might be the sacrificing mantis or the non-praying mantis, the agnostic mantis. I didn't know, but Clifford brought all the other mantises up to
So the
life.
way I understand it is the praying mantis.
Cliff,
gets to
write
have
down
sex
agnostic
once.
so you can look that word up too.
honeybees.
Cliff, you're muted.
Yeah, I know. I was meant to be muted. I
Whoa.
was trying to throw something behind the scenes to level, and it did.
It didn't go right.
It did.
Hey, just another reason why we need a producer.
Oh.
So the murder hornet has prey, which is the honeybee. Is she referencing the honeybees?
Yes.
Okay, because I can't see the Facebook, the YouTube feed.
The question is,
You're muted.
Sorry, the question is, it's a
hold on.
All I know,
predictive species are more prevalent, is what she's saying, like honeybees and frogs.
Predictive species.
I mean, that question doesn't really make sense.
It doesn't. So, well, I mean,
Hold on. Predict. I'm gonna add that to my vocabulary word for the list. I got altruistic and predictive to.
no, and
Is that
agnostic.
the right word?
He did throw in agnostic a few minutes ago.
And-
Throw
and
that one
obviously
in
Use
there.
smaller words on the show.
well, obviously we know those other species exist, but what I'm saying is we've heard in the recent weeks stories about the murder hornet, which is an invasive species. We've heard stories about this lizard from Georgia, who is a
Giant
invasive-
tegu lizard.
Tegu, the Chrissy Tiguan lizard, who is married to John Legend. And there was another one, I do believe, maybe the python. But in Florida, we're no stranger to invasive species. We have the
Iguanas.
iguanas. We have the
Canadians.
Canadians, yes.
And people from Michigan.
We have the pythons down the Everglades who are an invasive species. We have the lionfish, several the Japanese bottle plant, whatever that thing is, the Brazilian bottle plant, Brazilian pepper. We have several invasive species that we're used to trying to eradicate. We're not allowed to plant that type of plant in our yard. We're not allowed to own those types of pets for pythons and lionfish. We're instructed to shoot or kill if we see them.
Altruistic. Every time we say altruistic, that's two now. Tiffany takes a shot.
Well, is it
That's
my
three
cousin?
now.
Is it my cousin Tiffany or is it a different Tiffany?
Listen, we could make this a long night for Tiffany.
Or a really good night for Tiffany?
Tiffany McDonald, is that your cousin?
That is not my cousin.
Hmm.
Thanks for tuning in, Tiffany. We appreciate you. We're happy we could help with your alcoholism.
So if you're supposed to shoot these things on site and you see someone with a lionfish in their fish tank at their house, just blast away.
I would say if it's
Yeah.
in their home and it's contained.
But it's still illegal, right?
Yeah, maybe it's like a dog. You can feed it chocolate and it'll die. I don't know. But I know if in the wild, if you see them, you're allowed to shoot them with a 9mm. That's actually a verified type of hunting.
Does
or
it have
fishing.
to be a 9mm though?
It does. I don't believe it does. I believe you can use a 223 or
12 gauge, 357.
12 gauge might be a little tough for lionfish. I don't think they sit on the surface like that. They're reef fish. So you gotta
Mhm.
find them. I'm not really sure what it does to the reef if you shoot it, but 223 would definitely penetrate a lionfish armor.
All right, so listen, my last idea when it didn't go over so well, just shooting from the hip here, no pun intended there, but
Another transition.
but
Nice segue.
Well, before I get into my next idea that I have for making money, I just want to say altruistic. Boom. Okay. So let's talk. Hey, this pandemic is presenting some opportunities to make money in markets that really are underdeveloped, underserviced, uninvested in. So I mean, things like cybersecurity that's been out there forever, but like Zoom meetings or other platforms that are happening, e-learning. I think there's a chance for us maybe to look at. So my question is, if what do you see coming out of this pandemic that is going to be sustained once we go back, so that I know what I can make my money on? Go.
So you're
Good
asking companies during a time like this, they're going to get innovative and try to be disruptors in a market. What are those? What does that look like? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. What does that look? So I think there are companies out there that have been standard brick and mortar, say insurance companies. Okay, they kind of opened up to maybe adjusters or claims people working from home maybe a little bit, but now that they've had to do it for a long time, they're going to say, we're paying a lot of money for this office space, and these people seem to be pretty productive from home. Let's go ahead and let them stay home, but they're going to need a platform to do that. They're going to need, Zoom meetings. They're going to need, CEUs. So there's going to have to be some sort of, the kids in school also, e-learning. These things are out there. Or what else? These are things that I'm thinking of. What else is out there that's about to hit?
Listen, first I got to say I had a bad Zoom experience this week.
Okay.
Was it really that bad?
Do tell.
So I wasn't on the Zoom. This was so my company, in an effort to stay relative in the market, we're doing some educational or meetings weekly to what would be our referral partners in an effort to try to add value to them and help them grow their business. So this week we had one where the Zoom meeting was hacked and pornography was played on the Zoom meeting.
You sure that was a hack?
Did anybody jump up to turn it off, or were
Okay.
people just sitting there like,
the authorities
wow.
are involved and everything, and because of the nature of the pornography. And I think Zoom's got issues, and I know we're using it tonight under this platform, but
Well, it does, and it wasn't the first instance. There were several school teachers who complained about hackers hacking in while they were trying to meet with students. Similar issues. There was porn. There was other things involved that were, not what you want students to see. So that's clearly one of them. There's going to be an uprising in online video conferencing. I think we've already seen it with, I think Facebook released theirs larger. I think Facebook has currently or previous to this had a smaller number of people that could gather and do this. So Facebook is large. I think Apple actually acquired another telecommunications company in order to try to capitalize on that. But we have seen some failures. We've seen JCPenney went down. Office Depot actually posted today they were going to be potentially downsizing, laying off some employees, closing some stores, restructuring, if you will. And this is, this begs the question, what role in all this does retailers like Amazon have to play, right? Because Amazon clearly is is the largest, I think it's the largest website in the world. They're the second largest retailer behind Walmart. So, what role do they have to play in shutting these down? Was it just kind of like what we see with theaters, get together theaters, movie theaters, where they were already struggling before this all happened, and now that since they've lost all the revenue, they're just going to have to close up shop and tap out.
okay. So a couple.
So Tiffany's got a suggestion for us here, and I this is a question for her. She says sell more RAM, and my question is: are those the Billy Goats Rams or are the Mountain Goats? Which exactly Rams are we looking at, and how does that play into this?
I'm guessing she's talking about random access memory.
I know what she's talking about.
Okay. Which of those little silicone chips that go inside your computer?
Oh, she's got
Well,
it.
I would bring up, I'm going to steer this back to what you were saying really quick. And I'm going to bring up, if you go back, say 50 years, and you look at all the-
VPN. VPN.
Yeah, I got one of those. But you go back 50 years and you look at the the blue chip stocks, for example, okay? And how many of those companies are still there? You look at companies like, even if you go way back to like BMW, and BMW before the war was primarily an airplane manufacturer. And if I'm not mistaken, my facts could be wrong, but I think they were an airplane manufacturer, and they switched over to making cars and stuff, right? They evolved and they adapted. So what's going to happen here? And I was having this conversation actually with my dad last week. Is that I don't want to say survival of the fittest, but those who can adapt. So like Cliff was saying earlier, what are you going to look for to fill the void? How the world's going to change, but people still need to be doing things. Unemployment is still, well, not today, but say 3 months ago was still very low, yet there's so many industries that no longer exist. So people have moved into other industries. Before computers, nobody was an IT guy or an IT manager, and there wasn't an IT industry. Now there is. So what do you look for next? So you were bringing up the point about Amazon, right? And are they? I don't know if you're saying that they were at fault or are they to blame or what have you, but they were just the early ones to the party, or he was the early one to the party. So now you got to look at Amazon and say, what can we do that they're doing, or what can we do to steal? You don't have to become the next Amazon to start off, but what can we do better than they're doing it, or what can we do as an alternative to what they're doing to start serving a market? So there's going to be opportunities, but there are so many companies that were huge and big 50 years ago that no longer exist, and other companies now fill in.
Kodak, General Electric, several companies that used to do something and they did not either migrate into the new business or new areas of revenue, or they failed. So I think what you're seeing with things like Amazon is that it's forcing other companies like Walmart, Target to catch up with their delivery service. The benefit of Amazon is that you can order something today and it shows up at your door in 3 days, 2 days, sometimes the same day in some instances, depending on where their locations are. So
and I'm really surprised Walmart didn't get into this online thing much stronger, much sooner.
Yeah, they were a little slow.
I'm really surprised at that.
I think they're a player now.
They're definitely a player now. They're offering, I believe, free delivery without a subscription. So that really competes with Amazon, where they not force you, but the idea of getting quick delivery is incumbent on you being a subscriber to their Prime service, which is an excellent value, by the way. But the fact is, you need to become a subscriber in order to benefit from the fast delivery. That's all been put on hold due to the current pandemic. But you're going to see other companies do the same. I think one of the survivors out of all this we're going to see is the food delivery service. Grubhub, DoorDash, those things are going to continue to maintain.
This is where I have some ideas.
Yeah, and to Cliff's point about actual brick and mortar companies realizing that they don't actually have to have, but
Let's tell Lovell, don't put his ideas out there yet, because somebody will steal them from him.
Yeah, well, this is copyright. This is proof positive, right? That we've put it down on recorded instance. But you've got companies that are going to realize that they don't need an actual physical location with an office and people reporting to the office daily. They can save that money in rent or in maintenance or in actually ownership of the building, have their companies or their employees report and work from home, pay them some sort of stipend or a per diem to where they can accentuate their office, outfit their office the way they need to. You don't have to have a physical office that they report to. You're going to increase the sick time, I bet, or at least negate the sick time. They're going to have less people call in sick because they can do their work from home. And you save on all the maintenance and all the upkeep overhead of an actual physical building.
All right, so here we go talking about like what's that some innovative ideas, Cliff.
Yeah.
So restaurants right now, right, are at minimal capacity.
Right.
And food delivery service we're seeing is working pretty well. What about bringing a chef into your home to cook a meal for your family?
I like it. Sign me up. What we need. How much is it?
So instead of going to the restaurant to have an evening out, you bring essentially the restaurant to you, and have a meal prepared and served to whatever, liking it is that you have.
Dawn's running partner does that already for some neighbors of ours, where she goes in there. I didn't mean to cut you off, man. Sorry, but she goes to their house 5 days a week and prepares three meals a day for the husband and the wife, all healthy because, I guess they're not good at making healthy choices for themselves. So they do this, and that could be a burgeoning business here, you know?
I think the other thing that was crazy to me this week. Okay, so Pooh Bear, you were bringing up movie theaters, and that was a business that was already struggling, right? And a lot of it's because of the streaming services. Like, let's be honest, Netflix is Netflix because they offered a product that Blockbuster wasn't, right? They eliminated the late fees. That was a big thing.
Right.
But to be able to stream, if you remember, the original Netflix was they sent a couple DVDs to your house.
Right.
You know, you watch them, you put them back in the mail, you got the next couple on your list, no late fees. That killed Blockbuster, and they did not innovate or adapt to the changing market. But one of the things, so
They tried, but it was too late.
if you have kids, what you've seen advertised like crazy over the last week is this new Scooby-Doo movie called Scoob. So my kids, of course, are like, Daddy, we want to watch it. Daddy, we want to watch it. Okay, I'll set you up to watch it. I go to Amazon to turn this thing on, or I think it was Amazon. They wanted $24 to rent this movie. I was like,
And there were no reviews of it, no previews. It would just happen on a Friday. Hey, start watching this movie.
yeah, start watching Scoob. Now, I don't have any, I mean, listen, your typical movie that you, even the ones that aren't free as an Amazon Prime member, are somewhere between $2.99 and $5.99, and a lot of that has to do with whether you upgrade it to the 4K
Yeah.
or not for that streaming service. But for the new release to be over $20, I just don't know that family, and I could be proved wrong this week, right? But I just don't know that families are going to pay that type of money to live stream a movie like that in their house.
Because
I think the opposite.
You think?
Families are the ones who will do that, just because first off, $20 or $24 is a lot cheaper than taking your 3 kids and the mom and dad to the movie theater.
But
It is already.
Yeah.
I
Wait.
agree with you, but I don't
Plus,
think
parents are going to do almost anything to shut their kids up for a while.
But I don't think
And-
they're looking at it like that. I don't think they're looking at seeing it as a major release for a third of the price. I think they're looking at it as I'm watching a streamed movie for 3 times the price. Okay, does that make sense?
Mm.
So if you looked at it,
It makes sense. I just think they're going to overcome that, and
Well,
they're going to
listen,
say,
a night out
at the end of the day, I need to spend the money to get these kids quiet.
$80, and that's just tickets, probably.
yeah, no doubt. Before the lockdown happened, we have a favorite local movie theater, which is it's kind of a budget movie theater. They don't sell Coca-Cola, they sell RC Cola. They don't sell their popcorn is much lower priced than most places.
Is it Sam's Club microwave popcorn?
I don't know. It tastes just as good. Actually better. It's less populated. So anyway, so it's basically not a chain. It's not AMC. It's not Regal. It's not whatever chain is popular in your town. It's a local singular theater. So before the lockdown happened, Chrissy took the kids to see. My wife took the kids to see the latest Disney movie. I think it was called something. Some Blue Guys. Jack Ryan was one of the voices. I can't remember what it was called. Anyway, so
Smurfs?
no, it was. You
said Blue
It's
Guys.
on Disney Plus now. I'm sorry, I forget the name of it. Maybe somebody in the comments can tell us.
Trolls.
Nope, not Trolls. That happened after. Anyway, this is one of the last theatrical releases prior to the lockdown. She took the kids to see it. It was probably a total of $70 some odd, right, to see that movie with her and those 2 kids. I think she took some extra kids with her, 3 kids. So had that come now, it came to Disney Plus weeks later, absolutely free, or not free, but for the $6.99 or whatever the charge is for Disney Plus. So the moral is it obviously would have been cheaper just to stay home and watch it, cook your own popcorn. But you're paying for the experience, and you don't know if it's the latest Marvel movie. You're probably going to go see it. If you have the option to see it at home for $25 or go to the theater and see it for $100, you're going to take the choice to see it at home on your own couch with your own refreshments for $25. But if you don't know what it is, if it's Scooby-Doo, which has been done 10 times, right? I can think of half a dozen different Scooby-Doo movies. I think you're giving me reverb, Mr. Nogi.
Yeah.
You're not looking at it that way. You're looking at, I don't want to see another Scooby-Doo movie and pay 3 times the price of what I value it at. I think that's the thing, because you're not the first person I heard complain. I saw several posts on Facebook from moms and families that watched that movie this weekend, and exactly that. They just put their kids to watch it, and they said it was a little too much, but we're going to go do it because it's all the entertainment we have at this point.
Got another one.
All right, I got another one.
No, Pussy has something to look at. He's chomping at the bit to come in on this.
But he's writing it down. He's gonna remember. I'm gonna forget. All right, here's my other one, and then Cliff, I'm gonna the room is all yours.
Yield the floor.
Drive-in movies.
Those should be a big thing right now, but they're not. Go ahead.
Dude,
Well, there was a
it's hot. It's Florida. It's hot. No one's going to sit in a freaking car, and get carbon dioxide poisoning.
Cheap. What is
It's,
gas,
nobody
$1.50?
wants to do that, man. Dude,
You can sit there and run your car for 2 hours. for
if I'm
$1.50.
16 and on a date, I'm definitely going to a drive-in movie.
Well, yeah.
50.
Hello.
50.
You got to park. Don't forget, you got to park the car 6
By
feet
the way, I got
apart.
news for
Sitting
you.
in my
You're not
Tundra.
16.
Oh man. Hey, so Tiffany agrees with you, by the way. She says that taking a family of Florida movie is going to cost twice as much as seeing it on Netflix, and I think that's probably an altruistic statement. So
No, I think it's true. It's all about perspective. If you're looking at it as the point of, hey, this is going to cost me $25 to watch this movie, and I'm not sure if it's any good, that's a lot different than, hey, there's a pattern of quality films coming out from Marvel, and I'm willing to pay $75 to $100 to watch this movie with tickets and popcorn, or I'm definitely willing to pay $25 to sit on my couch and watch it.
preach it, Pooh. That's straight from Tiffany, right there.
I think when Netflix first came out, right, and like they overtook Blockbuster. Now Blockbuster was huge, right? Even Hunzinger, or whatever his name was, he was even.
By the way, time out. There is still a Blockbuster operating in Alaska. By the way, there is still one brick and mortar Blockbuster in Alaska.
Well,
They
there you
must
go.
not get internet there.
But when Netflix first came out and Blockbuster thought this is stupid and never going to work. And of course, look what Netflix did too. They started out, like you said, level with mail, right? You'd get the DVDs in the mail and all that, and then you'd mail them back with no late fees. But they were smart to convert. A lot of people thought they were killing themselves. They were, basically, when they switched over to start streaming, they were going to do themselves in. But look what it did for them, man. That was their saving grace.
Well, here's the thing about Blockbuster. How many of you rented a Blockbuster movie, knew that you had returned one late, and delayed going to rent another one because you didn't want to pay the late fee that you knew was coming?
Oh, when I was broke, absolutely, all the time. And even better is you knew someone that worked there. Back in high school, you always knew someone that worked at a Blockbuster because those were high school jobs.
Yeah. Be kind, please rewind.
Hey, Tom, can you X thing on the account today, and let me go ahead and check out the latest, whatever it was, Back to the Future 3, please. And they would take care of you because you just always knew somebody. Of course, you always knew somebody at the theater too. You walked up, you're like, hey, I need 2 tickets to see Forrest Gump. And they're like, slide it under the glass little thing there. No problem. Go on in.
Uber is a pirate. He's been pirating movies
I am not a pirate.
since he was a teenager.
As a aspiring cinema photographer, if you've seen any of our videos, you know that that's my true passion. It's photography and cinema photography. I know what it takes for those editors and those lighting professionals. I'm struggling with this light right now. I've got a beam of light coming down. I'm J.J. Abrams.
Now you're freezing up.
Moving my screen.
You definitely froze.
Trying to. No,
Now you're all done.
I've been fighting this light for an hour now, trying to get this thing out of here.
Turn off the light. Turn off the light. All right, so I got the drive-in movie got shot down pretty fast.
Take a poll on it.
We have a few drive-ins in town, but I don't think they're as busy as they should be.
A few, I think you mean two.
The one is actually currently closed.
Which one?
The Ruskin Drive-In.
Really?
Did they
was
fix
that
that
close?
place up? Because it was not all that good
Yeah,
shape.
at the
last time I
beginning
went.
of this pandemic, they were still open, but I guess they made a decision to shut down, and they're still not open. But yeah, so I mean, here, I think that I'm interested to see how busy the gyms are, by the way, this week. So the governor here in Florida is opening up gyms on Monday. I'm a member of LA Fitness. I don't know if anybody else is, but I still haven't heard anything from LA Fitness that they're actually going to be open tomorrow. But I know a lot of the gyms, of course, are. I'm curious to see how many people show up for gyms. I hit a couple of restaurants this weekend, and they were less than 25% capacity. They might have been 10% capacity, and I'll tell you that it was interesting because they're all unlimited menus. The service was not what you would normally expect it to be. So I don't know how quickly. I mean, obviously, people are not returning to restaurants as quickly as they might have. Maybe they will now that we're at 50% capacity. But I'll be interested to see what the gyms look like.
Yeah, well,
Really
I mean,
quick-
I lost my
really
burn
quick, hold on.
a couple of weeks
Ooh,
ago.
that's a precarious position to put your computer. Cliff, write that down.
Yeah,
Precarious.
that's Tiffany
Precarious.
suggested that.
He knows what the word precarious means. No, this was a suggestion by our viewer because we only have one.
Oh, if I can get this
She realized.
you got going on here. Hold on.
She's helping him out.
She's helping him out with
My
his.
cookie's
Can you
still
see
there.
it?
She
Cookie's
realized
still there.
I was
Good job.
struggling with the JJ Abrams light beam, but I was finally able to connect and turn off the patio light from where I sit. But anyway, so I think
All
it's,
right.
it's definitely a better angle. You can see more. You can see the Kamado Joe back there. That cooked our steaks tonight, by the way. Javi,
Uh-oh.
what you got on
My
the
internet
Kamado
connection
Joe?
is
You went,
unstable.
Javi went full Traeger. Javi went Rectech or Traeger. What'd you do, Javi?
So here's the thing I have. To me, if you're going to be a purist, he went with a pellet
That's not
smoker.
purist. If you're going to be
Right, so
purist,
if you're
you're going to offset.
So I was going to say, that's what I'm about to get at. You're interrupting me. So, let's bring some order to the man event. And you almost broke your computer. What he went with was the pellet smoker. Was, if you're not familiar with that, essentially you set the temperature. You might as well use a gas grill, by the way. You set the temperature and it drops pellets into the fire to keep the temperature that you want.
That blows air.
That way you can literally like set it and forget. Yes, and it has a fan that will get going to get it going. You can literally set it and forget it. Now I will say that in terms of ease of use, that's got to be way better than stacking wood on your offset smoker.
Oh, I agree. I don't like that version at all, but that's coming from a guy that uses a Kamado grill, which kind of does the same thing, minus the fan. I mean, you do still have to man it, but once you do set it, it holds heat so well that you can put whatever your product is on there, pork butt, ribs, even steak like tonight. Even though we got the talk and I let them sit a little too long, they got to medium instead of medium rare.
So the question on the chat is, do you think Ruth Chris will be at capacity? And I'm going to say no.
Ruth Chris
Ruth Chris will
No,
not be
absolutely
at capacity. No.
Well, I mean, by one, they're ordered by state ordinance to maintain 50% starting tomorrow. So therefore, they cannot be past 50% capacity.
You know what will be at capacity? Taco Bell.
Well, that's drive-through. It has been.
Yeah,
I
that's where
think
people are going to go. Everybody wants their Taco Bell.
Like, what is your favorite Taco Bell order?
for me, you asking me or you asking?
I'm asking all of
You need
you.
to ask Cliff. 'Cause he's only been once.
I was there.
I was there of his virgin Taco Bell experience.
I've been more than once, but the only thing I'm really comfortable with ordering are the soft tacos.
Ooh, no.
Chicken soft tacos.
All right, so if I'm driving,
I'm not really sure what else they have there, in all honesty.
if it's lunchtime and I'm eating Fat Man style, which currently I'm eating keto, which does not necessitate Taco Bell.
You're eating keto, yet there's a cookie sitting next
and
to
there's
you.
a cookie that uneaten. Where's your cookie, sir?
She didn't bring me
That's a
one.
lie.
I declined the cookie. Ask her.
That's all. I watched her bring a cookie out.
She said, I am assuming you don't want a cookie. And
Well,
I said,
either way,
yes.
my cookie's still here.
There's
I haven't
also no cookie next to me
eaten it because
either.
you ate it.
That's because you ate it.
And how
I ate
good
my
was
cookie
it?
live on the air.
It was pretty good, wasn't it?
I
I'll
feel like
tell
I
you,
was set up
okay,
for that
so
one.
for me, the Taco Bell order is 6 crunchy tacos with
Wow.
Diablo sauce.
6.
6 crunchy tacos with Diablo sauce and a
Is
Diet
this
Coke.
lunch?
Oh,
Lunch?
yeah,
What are we
that's a
talking
good
about?
lunch right there. That's a good lunch.
That's a
What did
lot
you
for
get for
lunch.
free at Taco Bell?
Listen,
Diarrhea.
eating that, Matt, for lunch, and then if you're going to go work in your barn, you're going to second guess yourself on not putting the
So-
toilet out.
So my
Made that one
my
across.
personal go-to order for lunch at Taco Bell is 2 bean burritos, 1 cheesy gordita crunch.
The
Uh-oh.
cheesy gordita
There you
crunch
go.
is
And
also
a
a
large
favorite
diet
of
Pepsi.
mine. I like the cheesy gordita crunch, and depending on how hungry I am, I will go anywhere between 2 to 4 crunchy tacos, no lettuce.
And that will also include 8 hot sauces. Hot.
But
specific.
another Taco Bell favorite for me is I also like. Have you ever had like the beef and potato burrito?
I don't believe so.
It's like essentially hash brown potatoes in a burrito.
Pounds, that's amazing.
Are you
It
telling me
weighs
that's
about-
wrong?
I'm telling you, it's everything good with life.
They used to have that awesome Cholito years ago. The Cholitos were
The
good.
Cholito is legendary. You can still go to some Taco Bells and ask for a chili cheese burrito. You have to ask for a chili cheese burrito. Chili cheese burrito. You can't. If you say Cholito, the kid behind the counter has no idea what you're talking about. But if you say chili cheese burrito, they'll ask the manager, and the manager should know what it is, and you may get one. But not any of the ones in our town, unfortunately.
I'm going to try that this week, and I will report back next Sunday.
Please do. But I've
I'm
tried
done.
all the ones in our town,
Yep,
and nada.
nothing, huh?
And that is, man, that was one of the best items on the menu.
Oh yeah, the Cholitos were just awesome. Oh, now I'm getting hungry. Fire up the Komodo Joe.
You shouldn't be hungry. You just had a steak. Did you have a potato?
I did. I had both, but the problem is we're talking Taco Bell here. Now it's time to get hungry again.
Well, are you, is it after a concert? Are you drunk? What's the problem? Because normally that's the only time you go for Taco Bell.
Okay, speaking of that, what's the first concert you ever saw?
Oh gosh. Actually, I can tell you what it is. It was, and talk about relevancy. So I was challenged this week to post 10 albums, an album a day, just to cover the photo of the album, one a day for 10 days, right? By my friend Brian McLean, whose birthday was last week. My boy Dirty. What's up, buddy?
Happy birthday, Dirty.
A week late. So his challenge was to post.
We said happy birthday to him last week.
I know, but whatever. He was the best man at my wedding. I got to give him some props. So I wasn't really into it. I was watching his posts, and it was some favorite albums and whatnot. So he challenged me, and I was like, oh, whatever, I'll do it. I'll have some fun with it. So I haven't led on to my theme, but I will say this. I've been posting, I think we're on day 6 or 7 now. I posted an album from one of my favorite bands when I was in high school. It still is my favorite band, one of my favorite bands. It was the first concert I saw. It was White Heart. The album, or the tour was Vital Signs. They came to Carpenter's Home Church. This is a Christian band, Christian rock band, who kind of mimicked the, I don't know, I'll say a little bit of Yes, a little bit of Kansas, that kind of era. If maybe a little, this pre-Bon Jovi, Def Leppard in that area. So it was a hair band. All right, let's put it that way. It was a hair band for Christian rock style. And White Heart, Vital Signs was my first concert. So my Aunt Carol took me to see it. Thank you, Aunt Carol. I love you very much. She took me to Carpenter's Home Church to see it. So what was your first?
Let's see. For me, my first real concert would have been Journey. It was a Raised on Radio tour. That had to be like 1984, 85, 83, somewhere in there, at the Hartford Civic Center.
We are definitely
good
dating
times.
ourselves going back to 84.
And
I don't
I
even
had-
remember what my first concert was, but I would have to go with you, Pooh Bear. It was probably at Carpenter's Home Church, whatever it was. There
were a lot. There's a huge mega church in Lakeland, Florida. They had there was actually a radio station in on the second floor. That's the WCIE 91.1, and you could actually tour. Hey, how you doing? Somebody just drove by and honked. It happens all the time.
Fans.
They're on the second floor. They would broadcast from there 24 hours a day, and for whatever reason, they were able to draw in several CCM or Christian contemporary music artists on the regular. I mean, it was once a month.
They had a
were
large
having
venue,
concerts.
kind of, that helped.
It was enormous. It was an enormous church. Enormous. I guess it still is. I haven't been. I think they've moved buildings, but
I don't think it's there anymore, actually. I think it's gone.
the church. Well, I know that building was gone, but I mean, the church itself is still around, isn't it?
It might be. It might be.
If you attend Carpenter's Home Church or the subsequent iteration of Carpenter's Home, let us know.
Write
All right,
those
Cliff,
down,
we need
Cliff.
to hear yours, man. What was yours? First concert.
I didn't go to a concert till I was in college, and that would have been the Rolling Stones Voodoo. God, what was it? Voodoo something tour.
The Stones.
Yeah.
Voodoo Wheels or Voodoo
Yeah, it was.
Kiss?
Anyway, I
No.
saw it at the University of Florida. It was at Florida Field. Voodoo, Rolling Stones. Nah, pretty much all I got. That was it. I mean, it was-
Clearly, it was memorable for you to be able to know that.
Oh yeah. I got a good story about that, but I'll tell you guys when we get off.
Oh boy.
You're gonna leave us on that cliffhanger, huh?
Voodoo Lounge, sir. Voodoo Lounge.
Listen, I say it's been an altruistic night, but I got to get up at 4 a.m, so I'm going to take off, guys.
For what?
Because Brian can't go to boot camp any other time, so we got to
Listen,
go.
I offered to go tomorrow night at like 7, but you're on duty.
Yeah, I'm on duty tomorrow.
So if you want to find an alternative day, we can maybe go at 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
I've already
I mean,
committed.
I'm all against canceling a 5 a.m. boot camp in an effort to put it on due another date.
No, I'm in. I've already committed.
So
Already got my mind set to misery at 4 a.m.
All right, so are we going to wake up Matt and Pooh Bear at 4:15?
Yep.
Nope.
I'll be
You're
at the
not.
office. You gotta come get me
You're
there.
not gonna be at the office. You don't get
Oh,
there.
yeah.
I don't know if I can make it to boot camp. So
I leave at 3:30 to beat traffic.
sacrifices yesterday for the man event, and I did a lot of dunking, like dunking a basketball, not dunking donuts.
Yeah.
And my knee is swollen up like a balloon.
Oh gosh.
Let me tell you, he was slamming jamming those pretty darn good, man. He was
Dude, I
looking
was
good.
getting air.
Nice
I was
job.
getting air for sure.
You were a lot higher than me.
I believe I had some alley-oop dunks. I had a 180 dunk.
See, in comparison, I know the limits of my abilities, and I knew that that was not going to be possible without hurting something, and how valuable I am to my organization. So I refused and said, you know what, I'm going to pass on this one. But going back to your boot camp idea, we do have an upcoming video based on boot camp and what we can and can't do. You're going to be able to see Matt do 100 squats. Lovell's going to do probably approximately 150 burpees. I believe that's his limit.
No burpees.
He says he probably can't hit 160, but 150 should be no problem. We're going to challenge ourselves and see what our 40-year-old bodies can do. On the race, some of us work out regularly. Some of us just don't really care. We have man strength. Some of us have man strength from just our normal everyday activities. Some of us have the need to work out to maintain that strength.
Pooh Bear, you couldn't run to the end of the sidewalk.
Is there a reason to? Is someone chasing me? Is my life in danger? Or my children's lives in danger?
You set a Cholito in the mailbox and watch him run.
Tell you what, if you can find a Cholito, I will run a mile to get to a Cholito, but it better be a real Cholito.
Challenge accepted, man.
Not
Cliff,
Sure,
Cliff,
that I can
all right,
find
you heard
the
that.
directions on how to make a
That
Cholito
down.
on Google.
Yep.
a pre-made.
I'm gonna get a Cholito, and he's gonna run a mile to get it. That's gonna be a video.
from your favorite high school student, made from the Taco Bell.
Challenge
All right,
accepted.
guys, it's been fun.
Bring it on. I mean, it's just a mile, right? What is that?
It's been
4 or 5 minutes?
Shoot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I'll close this out. Thanks for everybody watching us tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you didn't, you can let us know that too. If you do like it, make sure that you like and subscribe, and more importantly, share it.
Ring that bell.
Family, so that they can take in the awesomeness of the man event. Remember, we are live every Sunday night at 7 p.m. You can find us right here. I hope you have a great and a safe night, and we'll see you again next week.
This was a spirited show. Spirited.